Hi, hello, this is Manjunath Mahadev. I'm a faculty here in Classic Institute of Groups. So, ಮೊನ್ನೆ ತಾನೇ UPSC Prelims 2022 ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಕೀ ಆನ್ಸರನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಟ್ರೈ ದಿ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ UPSC gives the best, the final answers, these are all, yes, relevant. But we can't say that these are all 100%. But we try the best to give the best key answers. Okay, so let's start the the paper discussion or analysis. And here we do geography, economy, polity, history, culture and other subject except the science, and the science will be handled by another faculty of the institution. So we'll discuss excluding the the science section. Okay, let's start the discussion. Okay, the first question here is it's from the environment section, and the question is very simple here, that is the climate action, the tracker. Just assume here the tracker means to get the data, right? So to collect the data, tracking the data. So data, look at now, we said it's a climate data. Look at now the options, you can easily get it. So it's a database created by the coalition of the research organization, the wing of, look at now. So we can directly say that the answer would be for this question is A. So that means is that the climate action tracker is nothing but it's a database created by some of the the private organizations, the group of some coalition of the private organization. So the answer for the question 1 is A. This is actually we are doing the B series. Okay, let's go for the question. It is related to the climate grouping. Here the climate grouping, go with here, this is again the environmental section, and here is the climate group is an international non-profit organization that drives the climate action by the building large networks and runs them. Okay, fine. And EP, right? If you go for the EP, this is actually the climate grouping. It's a International Energy Agency. No, it is not the International Energy Agency's partnership. And if you go with the elimination of the option B and the remaining go with the option now, and here the 2 cannot be our answer. Here's the 2 and here is also 2 and here also the 2. And from that elimination technique, we can say that the answer for the question 2 is B, right? Hope you are getting. And because of we don't have the much time here, that's why we are not explaining in the depth. Okay, fine, you are getting. The next question is, if the rainforest and the tropical forest are the lungs of the earth, then surely the wetlands function as its kidneys. So just here's very simple that kidney means that actually filters the waste. That means here if I say the wetlands are the kidneys, they have to filter something, right? And here just go with the the statements which are actually resembles that to what? To filter the waste. Go with here, the water cycle in the wetland involves surface runoff, subsoil, okay, percolation and evaporation, right? This is also right. And the algae form the nutrient base upon which the fish, crustaceans, molasses, birds, reptiles and the mammals thrive. This is also right. The wetlands play a vital role in maintaining the sedimentation, balance and the soil stability. This is also be right. And go with the aquatic plants absorb the heavy metals. As I told you, the absorption indicates the filtering. So therefore here, based on that, the definition of the kidney, if I know the definition, if I know the meaning of the kidneys directly, I can say here the question, okay, the answer for that question would be D. Okay, this is again we are dealing is series B. I hope you are getting. Fine. And the next you can go with, in the context of, yes, WHO air quality standards or quality guidelines you can say, and also India has its national air quality standards and the national air quality indices, right? And the same thing here asking, as I told you, in the 2016 the National Green Tribunal, the statutory the organization in India, it actually declares the environmental emergency. And if you say the environmental emergency is based on the the presence of PM 2.5 and the PM 10. What exactly the PM, the particulate matter, means that these are the aerosols. Aerosols means these are the air, that's of the solid and the liquid particles which are suspended in the air. That means they can block, and especially PM 2.5 is very dangerous compared to PM 10. So therefore, if you go with the statements which are given by the UPSC, if you look at the things, the 24-hour mean of PM 2.0 should not exceed, this is exactly right, that's a 15 micro or gram per meter cube. This is right, and again the same thing, and the PM 2.0 should not exceed the 5. And this should be, this is PM 10. In a year, the highest leaves of the ozone pollution occur during the periods of, this is, it seems, this cannot be the one. The PM 10, as I told you, the PM 2.5, right? It's not 10, therefore 3 cannot be. And if you remove the option 2, here is there and here is there. And as I told you, the 1 is right and the 3 is also not my answer, and the remaining option would be B. So therefore, for the question 4, the answer would be B here. This is very important. These aerosols are very dangerous to the human health. They can block the respiration. Fine. Next, we'll move ahead. And this is again related to the Gucci, sometimes mentioned. This is again current affair question. It is a fungus. Definitely the Gucci is a fungus. And it grows in some Himalayan forest areas. Definitely, this is also, the statement 1 is right and the statement 2 is also right. It is commercially cultivated in the Kashmir or Himalayan foothills, definitely right, and but not in the northeastern Indian. This means this statement becomes wrong, and here 3 where it is, 3 is here 2 and here 2. The remaining 1 is right, 2 is right, and my answer for this question is 1 and 2. Fine, you are getting this. So next, go for the next question. This is again science. As I told you that the science session will be handled by other faculty of the institution. So we'll go for the next question. Fine. Yes, this is again a very important, and this is even essential, the vital, it's a need of the hour. Because, so what is happening that, because of the climate change, that, the coral reefs that are actually getting destroying. As we know that, as the temperature, increases, and the algae will, destroy because of the oceanic acidification and all things. So therefore, here the coral reefs finally will destroy. And if they destroy, as we know that, the coral reefs are considered as the lungs of the oceanic or aquatic ecosystem. So therefore, the protecting or conservation, the preservation of the coral reefs is a need of the hour. So therefore, we are doing many techniques here to conserve or preserve the coral reefs. As we preserve them, we could preserve the aquatic ecosystem in near future. So therefore, this is a bio-rock. Bio means, as we know that, from the available things. The rock means it's not like a natural rock, it's a bio-rock. So it's a talked about. This is, you can say yes, as I told you, this is directly, it is there in the option A. This is a bio-rock technique, and as we know that with the use of the water, how we can, we'll convert that water into the rocks. This technique is, the rocks will act as the, what is the skeleton, the polyps, and there the algae can be sustained, and they can, the coral reefs can be grown. So therefore, for the 9th question, the answer would be A. Next is Miyawaki, and again we discussed, this is in the class, the Miyawaki technique. As I told you that, so India is, it is actually the moving towards to, India is a signatory to the RED and the RED Plus initiatives, as you know, that of UNDP, UNEP, and that of your FAO. So in order to comply to those, guidelines, India has been adapting many techniques to, ensure the better forest cover. And as well, already India is a member to the bond challenge too. So here the question is, the Miyawaki method is, again I say that in urban areas, especially in the backyards, and it has the bigger apartments, you can grow the forest cover. So that technique is known as a Japanese technique, and this technique is known as a Miyawaki. So here the option, the promotion of commercial farming, no, we cannot say. Development of the gardens used genetically, no. And the creation of the mini forest, as I told you, this is the answer. And harvesting wind energy. So here for the 10th one, the answer is C. The Miyawaki technique is related to the first. Yes. So one more, again a very important question is again UPSC asked. As you know that India is being a member to the international open data charter, right? That means the open data charter means that has India is democratic country, that everything has to be with the people. So here whatever the government brings any kind of the initiative, their public initiative, the public participation has to be more. So in order to ensure that India has been started a policy, that is, we can say that in 2012, if I'm not wrong, there is a national data sharing and accessibility policy of 2012. In order to comply this, or in the same line, recently I think in May 2022, that India also started one more policy, that is India Data Accessibility and Use Policy. The main purpose is that make the open data just like Wikipedia, and here it is asked based on what is the open source, the digital platform. That means anybody can go, and it can, anybody in the sense, yeah, maybe sometimes if you go for the Diksha, the teachers, they can go, and DigiLocker, or even a student, right, they can go and log in it. And the COVID has, we know that the corona related stuff, and the Arogya Setu is also the same. So therefore here in my perception is concerned, I would go with option all are. Matlab D is the answer for the open source digital platforms. And again we discussed this is 2 in the class. So next, this is again Web 3.2 was again, it was in the news in the most recent, I think in February and March. But this is again, when the UPSC asks some questions, and when you talk about the science or science and technology based questions, when it comes to the application, yes, this is some majority time it will be all of the above. And look at the options. Web 3.0 technology enables the people to control their own data. Definitely this is AI, controlled AI you can say. So therefore yes, we can control. In Web 3.2 world, there can be blockchain based social networks. This is obviously, as you know, the blockchain, it works on the blockchain, web operated by the users collectively rather than a corporation. Yes, this is also the right. And again the option for the answer for this is all of the above. Okay, it was in the news, I think the Meta, right, means started the first what Web 3.0 is said. So that's why it is asked. And the next one, this is again science and technology related. Later we will discuss this. Yes, the qubit. I think I still remember it was in 2016, okay, in current affair. The qubit, the quantum computing, we measure the quantum computing in the qubit. It's a unit, right? So therefore here is the answer would be my quantum computing, right? So the answer would be for this is B. This is even you can go with easily. Okay, fine. This is I'll go with the governance section, or I can put it is in a public administration. Okay, I hope this is from this of the ARC, Administrative Reform Commission report. From this I can guess that it is actually from there. So here the statement 1 is that pursuant to the report of H. N. Sanyal Committee, the Contempt of Courts Act was passed. Yeah, obviously right. And this is based on the H. N. Sanyal Committee. And the Constitution of India empowers the Supreme Court and the High Court. Definitely right. And this is obviously that's the High Court and the Supreme Court is being empowered by the Constitution that any act which misconduct to the court's order, that can be punished. And here the Constitution of India defines no. Again here, yes, it gives, but there is no proper definition to the the contempt of court, but it is according to the Contempt of Court Act 1971. So my third statement cannot be right, and here the remove the 3, and here is the 3, and here is the 3. So 1 is right and the 2 is right, and the fourth one is in India the Parliament is vested. As I told you, it is according to the Contempt of Court Act 1971. That means of the act in the sense of Parliament. Definitely 4 is also right. So that means here 1, 2 and the 4 are the right answer for this question. Hope you are getting, and we are dealing with series B. Yes, the next one is again the consider following statement. This is again related to the governance, you can say. The government law officers and the legal firms are recognized as advocates, but the corporate layers and the patent attorneys. Look at the patent attorneys, they were in the news, I think so, because of, if you want to do, to get the idea related to the patents, you have to consult the patent registry or the patent, attorney. So we cannot consider them as advocates. So therefore here the statement obviously makes right. And the bar councils have the power to lay down the rules relating to the legal education and recognition from law colleges. Definitely, but it's not the exclusive power. Yes, but even it can suggest and it can be laid down some rules that can be covered by the universities in teaching of law education. Maybe this is also right. So according to us, okay, the answer for this question is C. The next one is, this is again a very easy question from the Indian polity section. So the bill amending the constitution requires a prior recommendation. No need to that, only the money bill you can say, and anything that, if you want to change the tax system, then only you have to get the prior recommendation of the president, but not to the constitution bill. So remove the 1, and here is the 1, here is the 1, and here is the 1, and the answer would be 2 and 3. So, and when a constitution amendment bill is presented to the President of the India, it is obligatory for the President of India to give his or her assent. A constitution amendment bill must be passed by the special majority. Yes, both the statements are right. The next question. Okay, fine. This is again from the Indian polity section. Okay, look again, it's the easiest one. The Constitution. Look at now again the Constitution of India classified. No, they are conventionally we are dealing that we are classify the ministries, but not according to the Constitution. And the total number of ministers in the union government, including the PM, shall not exceed the 15% of the total members of the Lok Sabha. Definitely it is right as per the 91st Constitutional Amendment Act, and I think for the Delhi is concerned, it should not exceed the 10%. So here based on that only I can say my answer for this question is 2, means of the B is the right answer. Next. Okay, again this is for the exclusive powers to the Lok Sabha, and while we are dealing with Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha are concerned, okay, some powers are exclusive to the Lok Sabha and some powers are even the exclusives to the Rajya Sabha, and some powers both they have to deal, right, for their implementation is concerned. So here which of the following is the exclusive powers of Lok Sabha? As we know, okay, to ratify the declaration of emergency, this is required the special majority. So this cannot be right. To pass a motion of no confidence against the council of, this is exactly right, and the no confidence motion has to be passed within the Lok Sabha. That means of the Lok Sabha has an exclusive power over it. To impeach the president, no, it requires a special majority. So here this cannot be. So remove 1. Okay, 1 is here and 3 is here. So remaining is 2. That means of here for the 25th answer is B. So next is with a reference to anti-defection law in India, consider the following. So again, it's a polity section. Look at the statements, because if you want the better India, and we need to ensure the better political stability, and if you want better political stability, we need a stringent anti-defection law in India. So right in this regard, UPSC has given some statements. The law specifies that a nominated legislature cannot join any political party within this 6 months. Yes, definitely there is a law that which is actually mentioned under the 10th schedule is concerned. Yes, within the 6 months they can join, but here the option is they cannot, therefore the statement becomes wrong. They can, right? The nominated member within the 6 months they can join any political party. The law does not provide. Again, the law provides that the presiding officer is the speaker here. Within the 30 days he has to do according to the 10th schedule, and this is also the wrong. So therefore here the both statement are incorrect. Therefore the answer for this question is D, that is none of the above, or neither 1 or 2, nor 2, sorry. So next is, okay, this is again Attorney and the Solicitor General. As we know that Attorney General and Solicitor General, the Solicitor General is not exclusively mentioned in the Constitution, right? But Attorney General is there, and again his powers and his designations, everything follows according to the President or the Convention. So look at now, the Attorney General of India and Solicitor General of India are the only officers of the government who are allowed to participate. Now here the Solicitor Generals are not allowed to participate in any proceedings in the both Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Okay, but only the Attorney General has that kind of the pass. So therefore the statement automatically makes no sense. According to the Constitution of India, as I told you, it is not according to the Constitution, this is according to the Convention. So therefore from that ground we can say, okay, this statement, okay, wrong. So here the answer for this question is again neither 1 nor 2. So hope you are getting. So next is again quotes with reference to the rates. Okay, this is again a very important topic that if the democracy is there, that means we have the fundamental rights, and those fundamental rights can be enforced, they can be protected through these kind of the rates. And here there are many rates has been known, but here they are given the 2 rates, I think so. So one is about the quo warranto, and another one is the mandamus. As you know, the mandamus and the quo warranto meaning. And the quo warranto speciality is that any the third party even can be file a case behalf of the victim. So this is the speciality of that of the quo warranto, and the mandamus, as we know that even it can be against the government one, right? So go with the statement, say the mandamus will not lay against the private organization unless it is entrusted with the public duty. Definitely right. And the mandamus will not lie against a company even though it may be a government. No, it can be. So right, any corporations which is supported the government, that means that in the government can be, right? This statement makes no sense. Any public minded person can be petitioner to move the court to obtain the writ of the court. As I told you, the third person can be petitioner to get the justice on the behalf of the victim. And remove the 2 here. So here is the 2, this cannot be, this cannot be, this cannot be, and the remaining is C. That means for the 28th the answer would be C. So for the next question, this is with reference to Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. Consider this is again a governance section, and this is very important. That's it's a part of the National Health Mission 2007. Right, and look at now that the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission to provide the digital health ID cards to the everyone in the country. The private and the public hospital must. And here sometimes what we feel personally that whenever the UPSC uses this kind of the terms, that's they consider them as a trap set by UPSC. So my personal view, I say it's a trap. So therefore it's a, as I already we told, these key answer not 100% unless UPSC gives its own. So we are trying to give the best, and because it depends on the perception okay, because the perception may vary from me to the UPSC. So what we are telling here, our perception may vary. Okay, our key answer with the original UPSC one. So according to me, this might be wrong. As it aims to achieve universal health coverage, every citizen of India should be a part of it ultimately. Yeah, the meaning is that, we can say that it has a seamless portability across. Remove one here, so you don't worry about anything, the statement. And according to us, the option or answer for this 29 question is B. Hope you are getting. Maybe this is, we are not pakka, that is, as I told you, UPSC, unless UPSC gives the original key. Again, the deputy speaker has in know that, this is again from the Lakshmikant, everybody knows. And again, it's again very easiest one, 2. As per the rules of procedure and the conduct of the business, as you know, which was passed in 1961, in Lok Sabha, the election of deputy speaker shall be held on such date as the speaker may fix. Definitely, it is right. The speaker decides. There is a mandatory. Again, I said you that, these are again the keyword that we have to look carefully. There is no such mandatory thing that we have to be. It's a conventional. It is happening. So therefore, the 2 is not the right one. Go with the option, and here the 2, right, and here the 2. But already, as I told you, so 1 is right. That means of your answer for this question is 1 and 3. Hope you are getting. Okay, the next. This is a very important current affair. As we know, then, the many countries are under the debt trap. Particularly, that's, so you can say that, the Sri Lanka, and maybe in coming days, maybe Nepal, Pakistan, right? And many the smaller the countries will go for the BOP deficits. So that time, and again the IMF, as we know that IMF lends money to the smaller developing countries based on their tranche and the quota and all, and which is we call them as the extended fund facility or SDR. But these SDRs, as we know that they have some conditions that you had to follow. And when this IMF started to lend the money based on the conditions, many countries are not ready to take that loan. So therefore, what the IMF has done that, it has actually brought many reforms. One of the reforms here is that is the rapid credit facility. That means of here is that the conditions compared to the extended fund facility here very less. Therefore, unconditional loans we can say comparatively to the SDR or extended fund facility of the IMF. So therefore, it's a very simple question that it's related to which organization. Okay, this is yes IMF, that's International Monetary Fund. Hope you are getting. This is again one of the very important again the question from the economy. And here we discussed already in the class that the exchange rate means of what? The exchange rate is very simple, that when our currency, when we compare the value of currency with another currency, and what the value of our currency varies, right? And here the different ways are there that you can already discuss this, fixed currency regime, floating currency regime, liberalized effective exchange rate are many. And the same thing here, 2 more is there, near and rear. Near means when my currency, okay, when my, assume that, our currency is rupee, and when my rupee, if I consider or are taking its value against some said the basket of the currency. If that value increases, what he is saying, appreciation in the sense when the value of that currency against the hard currency increases, right? That's appreciation is driven by the market forces as we know it. So therefore here what happens definitely is that when an increase in the exchange indicates an appreciation, that means value increases means appreciation. So therefore, the statement 1 is right. And second, go with an increase in the real effective. As I told you, real effective exchange rate is adjusted with the inflation. And that whenever we are insulated with the inflation, that when the rate change, it doesn't have any impact on the trade competitiveness. So therefore this statement automatically makes no sense. Therefore if they remove the 2 here, 2 here, here, so remaining option would be C. Therefore the answer for this question is C. Hope you are getting this point. And again, I hope, as I told you, that according to the UPSC, the current affairs means of 5 or 6 years. Okay, this was again, it was in the news in 2016 or 17. So they're asking about the what is that of the likely to buy the government securities. Fine, they're talking about the inflation, right? What are the steps you can take, that the monetary policy you would apply when there is a more inflation. Go with that. If the inflation is too high, more money in the market is there, Reserve Bank of India is likely to buy the government. Look at now what happens. As you know the bond market, how it works in the classes, but here we don't have time, that's to explain all those. But assume that the bond market works. When I need money, I will give the bond, okay, and instead I will get the money. So therefore here assume that inflation means more money in the market. So therefore money in the market. So what the government has to do? Government has to sell its government securities so as it can get the money back. So therefore here it's not the buying, it has to be selling. So the statement 1 doesn't make sense. Therefore 1 remove, and the answer would be here 2 and 3. Hope you are getting this. This is the elimination technique. Therefore what you have to do is, okay, don't follow the right answers, follow the wrong answers. You will immediately get the answers here. Look at, right, the wrong one is this, and when you eliminate the wrong one, right, A1, right, here is the 1 and here is the 1, so automatically we got the answer 2 and 3. Hope you are getting. As I told you that the most recent year, again we have already discussed the Colombo, right? The Sri Lanka has been under the trap, right? Debt trap because of the the Chinese very bigger loans, right? So therefore here what such countries have to do if they are incurring such kind of the losses. So therefore what the G20 countries they did actually, they started a common framework to what? To make them stable, right, in providing the financial assistance, or to absorb the risk of BOF deficits. So therefore they go with the statements here. It's an initiative endorsed by the G20 together with the Paris Club. As you know the Paris Club it's nothing but of, I think, the European countries, or these are actually the lender companies, lender countries. That means a group of countries which actually lend money to the small developing or least developed countries, we can say. Yeah, definitely it is the right one. But India is not a member to the Paris Club. Next, it is an initiative to support the low income countries with the unsustainable debt. As I told you, yes, to support that. Both the statement here are right. So therefore the answer for this one is C. Again, one of the very good, and again we discussed this is too in the class. So here the bond markets, we discussed the many types of the bonds, right? Dated, perpetual, right? Different kinds of the bonds we discussed actually. Here one more such types is the inflation indexed bonds. As we know that inflation is not good, it's the biggest villain to the economy, because what it makes is that it actually eventually erodes the savings or investment of a country. So therefore what actually the government has done, that it actually issued some bonds which are insulated from the such inflation. That means you can say these are the indexed, they are linked with the inflation. That means they are getting some kind of the security from the inflation, right? So go with the such thing. And one more thing you should not forget, that only the national savings certificates and others only have, they cannot be taxable in India according to the IT Act 1961. But almost all of them, including the IIBs, they can be taxable. Okay, fine, you got the things. And now go with the statements. Government can reduce the coupon rates on its borrowing by way of IIBs. Yes. IABs provide protection to the investors from uncertainty regarding inflation, as we told, because it erodes the savings. And the interest received as well as the capital gains on IABs are taxable. They are not non-taxable. Here the 3 is wrong. Okay, here is the 3 and here is also 3, here is also 3, and the answer for this question is A. I hope you are getting how elimination technique could work. Okay, firms operating in which of the following statement is correct? And definitely again we discussed, this is 2 in the class, that's that of the e-commerce. And as you know that while we are discussing about the WTO and what are the issues between the developing and the developed world, in that actually we are already discussed about that 2 important models in the e-commerce. That is inventory based model and the market based model. And inventory based model, that how it works, that of the if you take the example of the Amazon or Flipkart, what they will do, they will buy the goods from the market, they will store, they will what will they will again sell to the directly to the consumer. This is called the inventory based model. Definitely it affects the domestic stakeholders. But in a market based model, now it is currently is there. That means here how it actually works means, and here the Amazon, Flipkart and whatever they are, the e-commerce giants, they just acts like a facilitator. So based on that, they have been asked a question here, we'll go with, they can sell their own goods in addition to the offering their platforms. I said, no, they cannot. As I told you, India had to accept this. So therefore this statement cannot be right. And the degree to which they can own big sellers, their platforms, is definitely, as I told you, yes, they are limited, right? So therefore, and here the 36, the answer for is only B. So right, hope you are getting. This is again constitute the real sector, and again here the real sector means is that where I think it's where there is no financial transaction takes place. And the moreover that's agriculture and the industrial sector sometimes we do consider as what real sector, which are near to the people, right? So the farmers harvesting has the agriculture is one, and textile, as I told, the industry is also falls under this. The corporate body, commercial banks cannot be, as I told you. So remove 3 is here. Okay, 3 is here, 3 is here. The answer for this is 1 and 2 only. Hope you understanding. So indirect transfers, okay, as we know this, the foreign company will acquire the shares. Okay, this is called actually the indirect transfer. And I think it was in the news, right? An Indian company investing in a foreign enterprise and paying taxes to the foreign country and the profits. No, a foreign company investing in India and paying taxes. No, an Indian company purchases. No, and a foreign company transfers shares and such shares derive their substantial value. Yes, definitely this is the right one. And this is also India has to define in order to avoid the indirect transfers, because it leads to the base erosion and the profit shifting. And so therefore we have the place of effective management, and the concept of significance presence. And again we are also removed that of the shell companies, and we are defining them in properly, because of all these things to avoid the base erosion and the profit shifting. And India is a member to the the OECD's common framework network, right? So many things are there. So okay, fine, only for this 38, just only you have to know here is the answer for this question is D. Okay, expenditure. Yes, this is again one of the easiest, right? As we already discussed, when you're talking about the budget, and in the budget we have the expenditure. The expenditure may be in the many ways, right? And some expenditure may bring you economical viability. Some expenditure, expenditures, they do not bring such viability, the economical angle. And go with that, which do not bring such expenditure, we call them as a revenue expenditure, which bring financial viability, then them call them as a capital expenditure. Look at now here. The acquiring new technology, definitely it's a it's a good, right? It's a very good, right? So hagagi we consider it as a capital expenditure, right? This is right. Debt financing, look at now the debt financing, it's not good in the economy. So right, that means the bad means it is a revenue expenditure, but he has written as a capital one. So it has to be a revenue. So therefore the statement 2 is wrong. Here the option would be yes, only 1 for the 39 question. So next is the Indian economy again. This is okay, a share of the household financial saving goes towards government borrowings. So here the government borrowings means of that the government liabilities. Maybe the liabilities may be directly or indirectly, but here in this sense the share of the household financial savings can be indirect borrowings. As they invest, investment means they have to pay finally or ultimately to the public. So therefore on this sense we can say it is the right one. Dated securities, we can say the zero coupon bonds issued at the market related rates and auctions form a large component internal debt of the government. Definitely right. And as you know that it's a right one, right, if you say that. So therefore here the answer would be for the both, right. So this is, as we again look at now from this analysis, we can say that UPSC has been asked many repeated questions, right. So therefore what you have to do is before going next year you have to solve 2020, 2021 and 2022's prelims question paper. Okay, definitely there will be repeated one. The many questions are indirectly repeated this year's prelims. This is again straightforward question, and again it's one of the easiest one what we feel, right. The methane, this is bad, emits the methane. The methane is one of the global warming potentials as we know it, right. So this one. Okay, this is again as I told you that the last year there was a question regarding the permaculture, and the same thing here this year he asked about the system of rice intensification. This is again from the agriculture sector, you can say, or even you can consider it as an environment. Look at now the system of rice intensification's agenda is that to have the more productivity with the less consumption, the less what we say that consumption. We could use the less things and we can produce the more thing. So based on that work, it actually works, and may it involves the different newer technologies and many things we can say. So therefore here if you go with that, okay, the reduced seed requirement, definitely it says, because as I told you, more with less, you can produce more with less thing. That means less seeds, more output, you can say. Methane production, because it is eco-friendly, you can say. Reduce electricity. Yeah, this is somewhat, because as you know I have doubt, but still when the application based questions come means definitely you had to go with all of the above. So based on that I am going with the 1, 2 and 3, but I am not sure about it could reduce the electricity consumption, but I don't know. Maybe on the basis of that if I use the more less water, maybe that's of the electricity consumption can be less. Maybe on the basis of that I could say that answer would be 1, 2, 3. Fine. So next is this is again out of the box question. UPSC every year does the same. Okay, has after knowing that after discussing with many faculties, so we finally come to the answer is the Lake Fagubine is the answer for that's in the West African become the dry and turn into a desert, because you can say it indicating that the climate change aggravating day by day, right. If not we stop that now the Lake Fagubine, next will be other Indian lakes too will have the will face the same conditions. So therefore the climate change we need to mitigate as much as soon. The next question is Gandikota Canine of South India was created by which of the following river? This is, if you go with that, okay, it's a Northern Pennar river. Okay, the Northern Pennar which actually flows between Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, and so therefore the answer for this one is a Pennar, Northern Pennar. So this is again straightforward question from the geography. Okay, Garahaval, as you know, the UK, right. This is UK means Uttarakhand, right, and here you can say it. But Namcha Barwa, where it is come to the in Arunachal Pradesh. So therefore this statement cannot be one. The Nandha Devi common, yes, this is right. Nokrek, it's in Meghalaya, not in Sikkim, right? So therefore here the two things which are correctly matched, and only 2 is the right is correctly matched, means only the 2 is correctly matched. The answer for this question is B. So the term Levant, look at now why it is actually asked, right? So look at now, as we know, the Taliban was taken over the Afghanistan, and the meanwhile there was another Islamic organization, I think in 2016 or before that, it was actually created a huge ruckus in the whole world. What was actually it is, that is the ISIS, Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, and also it was also, or it is also known as ISIL, and here the Islamic State of Iraq and Levant. So Levant indicates that area, the Eastern Mediterranean area, including Syria, Jordan, right, Israel, right, and these all area, Turkey, and all these areas included, we call them as Levant area. So therefore that's why I asked the question, the reason along with the Eastern Mediterranean shore. This is the answer, right? Again it was easiest one, right? So next is that over the borders with the Afghanistan, when you're talking about, if you go with the Afghanistan, because of, as you know, the why this question, because of again the Taliban takeover, and here the Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan, and I hope that Azerbaijan, okay, it's actually border with the whom? Iran, but not with the Afghanistan. If you remove the 1, okay, this cannot be. So here is the 1, right? Here is also 1. Here is also 1. So remaining is 3, 4, and 5 only. The answer for this question is C. Okay, this is again the thorium. As we know that we are actually thinking about the third generation, what we say that the nuclear reactors, because India needs, if India wants to achieve its vision of the net zero by 2070, it has to go for many innovative technologies or methodologies, right? One of such methodologies, if you want to achieve that, is to focus on thorium based reactors, right? So that's why this question is asked here. So look at now, yes, the thorium's main source is monazite, which is majority found is found in the Kerala, right? As you know it, monazite is a source of rare earths, yes, right? Monazite contains thorium, yes, right? Occurs naturally in the, definitely it's naturally occurs the entire, again this term makes the statement, as I told you, this is a trap again set by the UPSC, so this cannot be. So this is the 1, 3, and here is a 3, 3, and here is also 3. So remaining for the 48 is B. Hope you are getting. So next, go with that. This is again a very easiest one. The longest day of the year normally occurs in where? In which time? As you know, the June 21 means, you can say that is the second half of the month of the June, right? So you can go with the option 49 is B. There is no need to explain this. This is again a factual based question, and any of the GK based books and even the Mazuzution, if you would have gone through, you would have attempted this one. So Hokera wetland, it is Punjab. No, I don't think so. It is in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, this means it is wrong. Renuka, yes, definitely it is right. Rudrasagar, Tripura, right. Okay, the Sasta Makuta Lake, it is in KL, right. So therefore here I think so this one and the 1 and 4. Matlab how many pairs correctly matched? Here is a 2 and 3 are correctly matched. Means of the only 2 pairs are correctly matched. That means of for the 50 is, the answer would be B. So next one. Again, this is again from the culture section. The culture is very important, as we know that the many questions are being asked this year too. So therefore here the look at now the Ashoka's major rock edicts and location in the state of which state may, okay, and these edicts are actually found. So Dhauli, yes, it is in Odisha, right? Eragudi, it is in Andhra Pradesh. Jawgada, it is in, I think it is in Odisha, right? It is in Odisha. Khalsi, it is in UK, right? UK. That means here the two pairs are correctly matched, two pairs are incorrectly matched. Go with the question, correctly matched are only two pairs, right? This is the right answer. Okay, this is again from the last year, that's UPSC focusing on the political history, but okay, earlier the UPSC was not to think more about the political history, but now it is asking. Okay, look at now that the Nanukha is a Chandela ruler, definitely, right? Jaya Shakti is also in Chandela ruler, right? But here he given the Paramara. Nagabhatta 2, Gurjara Pratihara, right? Definitely. Bhoja is again from the what do you say, that it's not from the Rashtrakota, it's a Paramara. So therefore here this is also wrong. Here the two are right, two are the wrong. What is the question here? Which are correctly matched? Again go with the only the two pairs are correctly matched. So the Sangam, as we know them, the Sangam means the group of the what do we say, that poets. Okay, you can say that which was more dominated in Madurai, right? As we know, then there is that was the headquarter of the Sangam literature, the poets, you can say. Literature in ancient South India is correct. Sangam poems are devoid of any reference to material culture. They have many reference for the material culture. The social classification of Varna was known to the Sangam poets, definitely was there. The Sangam poems have no reference to the warrior ethic. No, they have, right? Many texts are there. The Sangam literature refers to the magical forces as irrational. No, they actually consider them. This cannot be, poems cannot be. Okay, if we compare to in this, the B is the right answer for the 53. So this is a Yoga Vasistha was translated into Persian by Nizamuddin Panipati during the reign of, okay, it's the reign of, this is again straightforward, okay, it's a Akbar, right, it's a Akbar. Next. Okay, this is the world, the second tallest statue in sitting pose of Ramanuja was inaugurated by the Prime Minister of India at Hyderabad recently. Which one of the following statements correctly represents the teaching of Ramanuja? Yes, as we know that the schools, the school of devotion, if you are classified, they have different types of the schools, as we know, the heterodox sects and orthodox sects. As we know that in orthodox sects, they do follow the Brahmanical system, the Brahmanical order, the Brahmanical teachings. It has many things. If you go for the yoga, Sankhya, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, and the Vedanta. Vedanta is again two different schools. One is Ramanuja school and of Vedanta, another one is the Sri Shankaracharya school of Vedanta. And Shankaracharya school of Vedanta is considered that the right knowledge is the basis for the salvation. That means it is a, we call it Advaita. And way that of the Ramanujacharya says, so it's a Shankaracharya, and Ramanujacharya says that if you want to have the salvation, if you want to get the salvation, you have to more devotion towards the Lord Vishnu. This is actually given in the Vishishtadvaita philosophy of Sri Ramanujacharya. So therefore he is saying what is the what exactly the philosophy of Vishishta Advaita of Ramanuja says, right? And the best means of salvation was devotion. As I told you, if you want to get the salvation, you have to be more devotee, or you have to be devoted, more devotion towards the Lord Vishnu. So therefore, not looking into other statements directly, I can say that the option A is the right answer. Okay, the Somnatha temple, this is again the current affair. Okay, go with that, what is the Somnatha temple? Somnatha temple is one of the Jyotirlinga shrines, right? A description of the Somnatha temple was given by Al Biruni. And Prana Pratishta of Somnatha temple okay, was done by Sri Rajendra Prasad, right? It's not by the Radha Krishna. So statement 3 is right, so wrong. So here the 3, so answer would be 1 and 2. So next is, okay, this is again science and technology. Consider following other than the made by, okay, fine. Okay. Okay, this is what is the question is about excess of which of the environment is or cause acid rain. As you know, okay, it's nitrogen and sulfur dioxide. That means of the option, okay, nitrogen oxide 2 and sulfur 2 and 4. Where is the option 2 and 4? The answer for this one is B. As you know, the acid rain, right, you know, whose the pH is approximately about 5.6, as you know it, right? So next to go with that, consider following statement. Yes, this is again the, you know, you can say that, you know, the question was in the heat budget section of geography. And here the two types of the clouds, as you know, the high clouds and the low clouds. And as you know, the low clouds are more thicker and high clouds are more thinner. So as you know, the clouds, you know, exhibit the property called albedo. The albedo in the sense they reflect the sun rays, or is called the short waves we call, they actually reflect them back to the space. So therefore here if you go with that sense, and the low clouds, that means they're less reflective, means they can warm, and higher cloud, the reflect more means they can cool the atmosphere. So the high clouds primarily reflect the solar radiation, okay, cool the surface. As I told you, they are very thin, they cannot cool, they warm. So therefore the statement is wrong. The low clouds have a high absorption. Look at the high absorption, as I told you, only the reflect, right? The reflection, because as I told you the concept of the albedo. So therefore this even cannot be. So therefore based on this directly I can say neither 1 nor 2 is the answer for this question. So next question is, okay, this is again one of the tricky question in the IAS section. Okay, such questions are actually about to live in UPSC. Don't take the risk. Fine. The BDBD is a large refugee settlement in northwestern Uganda, right? It's not in Kenya. So therefore the statement 1 is ultimately wrong. Go with the option 1. Yes, here is the 1. This cannot be. Fine. And go with the next statement. Some people who fled from the South Sudan civil war live in BDBD. Some people who fled from the civil war in Somalia live in the Dadaab refugee in Kenya. So both the statement 2 and 3 are right here. So therefore I go with the 2 and 3. That means for that question number 62, the answer would be what it is, C, that is 2 and 3. This is again the question is, which of the above are the members of Organization of Turkic States? That means of Turkish speaking states or countries. Just like I think in 2016 or 17 the francophone countries were in the news. Maybe taking that a reference, UPSC has asked this year the Organization of Turkic States, means the Turkey speaking the countries. So go with the which are those all. Okay, 1 by Armenia. No, it's a Black Sea country. This cannot be. Yes, Azerbaijan can be. Croatia. So Romania cannot be here, and Uzbekistan can be. That means of here if you say 1 and 4. So remove the 1, and here is a 1, and remove the 4. Yes, here the 4. That means these are all cannot be. The answer for this question is 2 and 5. Hope you are getting. This is again okay, GK based question. Look at now, the Gujarat has the largest solar park. No, it's, as we know everybody that Rajasthan, right? This is okay, this is not Gujarat, it is Rajasthan, right? So therefore the statement wrong. The Kerala has the fully solar powered international airport, obviously, right? Goa has the largest floating solar photovoltaic project in India. No, it is AP. That means of the Andhra Pradesh. This cannot be. So Hagidmele, what the question here? 1 and 3 are wrong. So 1 is here. This cannot be. 3 is here. and here. The answer would be for this question is 2 only. Fine. Okay, UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. This is already we have considered this, how much it's very important because of South China Sea issue, right? And also that, the most recently the freedom of navigation operation, the base, taking this as a reference, that's, that of the United States of America Navy was recently entered the Indian territorial water. Maybe it was in the news, that's why the UPSC has been asked this time, and also the recent in 2021 too, there was a question on UNCLOS. At the same time, and here also the UPSC has asked. Look at the statement, a coastal state has a right to establish the breadth of its territorial sea up to a limit not exceeding. That means from it's a baseline, we can say that from that baseline 12 nautical miles it can be determined in accordance with the convention. That's which convention? UN clause. Ships of all states, whether coastal or the landlocked, enjoy the right of innocent passes through the territorial sea. This is also the right one according to the UN clause. The exclusive economic zone shall not extend beyond 200 nautical mile, because as you know that, and if I say it's a 200 nautical mile and this is called the international water or open sea as we know then, or high sea, and this is called the national water, right? Therefore, he is saying that the breadth of the territorial sea is measured. Is from there, definitely right, they cannot be, right? The statement 3 is right. Statement given is correct. All are correct, right? So therefore, here no need to worry. The answer for this question is D. Okay, the next is Senkaku Island, as we know them, because the UN class. So it was in the news. That's why in the South China Sea and the East China Sea. In the South China Sea, as we consider the Parcel Island, you can say, and Spratly Islands, you can say, Natuna Islands, you can say, they're actually under the dispute. And the same type, and in East China Sea, and also there is a dispute between the, the China and the Japan related to the Senkaku Islands, right? So therefore, here the Senkaku Islands were the news, right? What exactly they are actually given here. It is generally believed that they are artificial islands made by a country around South China Sea. No. Okay, this cannot be. The China and the Japan engage in maritime disputes over these islands. Definitely right, as we already said. Okay, answer would be B. Okay, no need to go for other options. So again, I think it's a 2016 current affair that's, in Djibouti, the China has established her permanent base, naval base. As you know, it's a part of, it's a string of pearl policy, right? And to dominate the Indian Ocean region, right? And as you know that, in order to counter this, what India has been doing with its, Australia and its, all-weather friends like US and the New Zealand, and many countries, Japan and all, right, as we know it. But here the thing is, in a chart, setting up a permanent military base by China, no, as I told you, it is in Djibouti, so one cannot be. So go with the one. Okay, this is which are correctly matched. There are Tunisia, suspension of parliament by president. Lebanon, as we know them, still there is the economic recession is there. 3, 4 are right. Guinea, suspension of constitution, because they are all in the news. Means among 4, 3 are correct, right? 3 are correct. That means only 3 affairs are correct. That means for that question, the answer is C. Okay, the next question is, okay, Anatolia, as you know them, it's at Anatolia Plateau. It is in Turkey, as you know it, right? Amhara in Ethiopia, right? So Cabo Delgado, it is in Mozambique. It's not in where? Spain. Catalonia, as you already know it, right? The Catalonian crisis, which were actually demanded for the autonomous country in Spain, right? It is not in Italy. So therefore, this is also be wrong. So therefore, here 2 right and the 2 wrongs. What is the question here actually? How many pairs are correctly matched? That means here the 2 pairs. That means answer is B. Hope you are all getting, and we are solving the series B here. Okay, this is again wildlife protection, right? If you go with the Wildlife Protection Act in depth, you will get to know that, Wildlife Protection Act, according to that, the wildlife are there, they're actually sole property of the government. and you cannot kill them on the basis of that the danger, unless you had to get the permission from the statutory organization called Chief Wildlife Warden, right? So based on those statements, actually the statements are given in here. The wild animals are the sole property of the government, as we already said. Yes, when a wild animal is declared protected, such animal is entitled for equal protection, whether it is found in protected area or outside it. Definitely right. Kaha par bhi, if the deer, if it is assume that the deer is listed under the schedule 1, it has to be given equal protection, not only in that said particular national park but also beyond the national park. Definitely right. Apprehension of a potential wild or a protected wild animal becoming a danger to human life is sufficient ground for its capture or killing. We can't say that. Exactly that, as I told you that you need the better apprehension from the statutory body, so which is being established under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, that is a Chief Wildlife Warden. So therefore this cannot be the one. So here the answer would be which are correct, 1 and 2. That means for the answer for this question is 1 and 2. The next is, okay, this is again I will go with, yeah, this is again economic question. Go with that, tight monetary policy, and we have expansion monetary policy. The tight monetary policy will be done when there is more money in the market. So therefore what happens when during the more inflation, that what the the RBI like institutions or the central banks, they actually decreases or reduces the rate of interest. When the rate of interest reduces, the capital flight take place. What is the capital flight means of here? The investments start to go out of the country. So here the same thing, tight monetary policy. Okay, ignore whatever here. I will take it as a RBI lead to the capital. Definitely, as I told you, right. This is one. And the capital flight may increase the interested cost of firms with existing expense. Definitely right. Okay. Devaluation of domestic currency decreases the currency risk associated with the ECB. External commercial borrowings. Look at now, when currency devaluate, officially when you decreases the value of a currency, then it is called the devaluation. So when the currency devaluate against the dollar or the hard currency, what happens, as we know that we have to pay extra money, because my currency value has decreased, means I had to pay extra money before devaluation and after devaluation. So therefore here the devaluation of domestic currency decreases the currency risk. No, it is increases. So therefore the statement 3 is incorrect. So go with here the 3, right? Here is a 3, right? And here is a 3, here is a 3, and answer for this question is 1 and 2 only. Hope you are getting the things. This is again one of the tricky question, that how many of the above are generally known as a tea producer. Almost all, if you go in India, every state has a potential that they can produce the things. But here not they're asking the generally means commonly they are still asking. If they're asking, if they would have asked that the major tea producing means, you would have go with the Kerala, Himachal and Tripura. But here generally means even in Andhra too we can grow the tea. So therefore in that perception, directly I can go with the all 4 states can grow the tea. Fine. And this is again, as you know, the credit rating agencies, how much they play a crucial role, right, in maintaining the stability in the economy, because they assess the credit worthiness of an individual per se, or you can say any country, right. So therefore here in India there are many credit rating agencies, be it as I told you, and here the ICRA, right, and just like an international Moody's Investor, Standard & Poor's, and many are there. And the question is here, in India the credit rating agencies are regulated by SEBI. It's not by the RBI. So therefore here this statement makes wrong. The rating agency, go with now whatever that, just we'll go with the elimination. Yes, 1 is wrong, here is a 1 is wrong, and here is also 1, here is also 1. The answer for this question is 2 and 3, that is B. Hope you are getting. Again, as I told you that Banks Board Bureau was in the news, that it's a part of Indradhanush. As we know that Indradhanush, don't confuse with the Indradhanush, right? Indradhanush mission, our mission Indradhanush or Abhiyan Indradhanush. This Indradhanush is related to bring reforms in the banking sector, especially in the public sector enterprises. And here the Bank Support Bureaus, which is based on the PG Nayak committee, as we know it, right? And what exactly is given? The governor of the RBI is the chairman of BIB. No, it's the chairman is decided by the government. So here is not the RBI chair. Okay, governor is the chairman of this. So one cannot be. And go with the again 1, and here is the 1, here is the 1, here is the 1. The answer would be 2 and 3. So therefore, I told you, if you go, you had to chase the wrong answer, not the right one. So if you could do the same thing, definitely you will get the answer directly. Hope you are getting. The next one is, okay, convertible bonds. As you know that, the bond market, again there is a third question, I think. So the bond market, as you know, the some bonds after some time we can be convertible into equity, right? Such bonds are called the convertible bonds. Sometimes they can be received the low of interest, right? Go with the statement, has there is an option to exchange the bond for equity? Definitely. The convertible bonds pay a lower rate of interest, as I told you, definitely. The option to convert to the equity offers bond holds a degree of indexation to the rising consumer prices. This is also right. So therefore, the answer for this one is both are correct for this question. That is, C is the right answer. Again, we have discussed this in the question in the class session, right? And I think we have discussed the 4 control regimes that India is a member, right? Not in the 4. The 4 are there, like we discussed the Wassenaar Arrangement, Australia Group, and NSG and MTCR. But India yet to be the signatory to the NSG, but India is a member to the 3 of the control regimes. So, but here what the question was here asked by the UPSC is India is a member to. Obviously, we can say AIIB, India is a member, which is headquartered in Beijing. Yes, MTCR, as you know, because of India. Why it was asked? Because of the drone policy. As you know that the drone policy and the drone is being utilized by the many terrorist organizations to hit the to hit the other countries or to bring the instability. So therefore, the MTCR covers those drone, the regulations. In the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, as you know that India is member since 2014. So India is member to all of these 3. That means of the answer for this one 676 is D. So next one is again go with that Vietnam. Why it is? I think that 3 nose defense policy, it is actually adopted by the Vietnam. And one more very important agreement that was actually revoked by Vietnam with the US, right? And that's why it was actually asked, and it was in the news. So therefore, it asked, and it is a single party system actually there in Vietnam. And we'll see what are the things that are actually right and wrong here. Vietnam has been one of the fastest growing economies in the world in the recent years. Yeah, it can be. Vietnam is led by the multi-party, so 2 cannot be the one. The Vietnam is the economic growth is linked to its integration with the global supply chains and focus on export. Yes, you can say. For a long time, Vietnam's low labor cost and stable exchange rates have attacked. Might be right. Vietnam has the most. Look at now, again the keyword is the most. So according to us, right? So 5 is the wrong one. That means here 2 and the 5. 2 and the 5. 2 here is there. 5 here is there. Okay, that means answer for this one is C. Hope you are getting. In India, one of the following is for maintaining the stability and controlling. This is again direct, and as we already discussed, the price stability in India is maintained by, that is a money circulation. That means of, money supply regulation is done by whom? By the monetary policy. The monetary policy is done by RBI. So therefore, from that basis, we can say it's directly by D, the Reserve Bank of India. So the non-fungible tokens, again they were in the news, as you know them. They are actually do exchange in the blockchain technology. But we cannot be equally shareable, right? And look at the things that they are enable the digital representation of physical assets. Yes, right. They are unique cryptographic tokens that exist on a blockchain, right? They can be traded. They can be traded easily, exchanged. They can be easily at equivalency. No, it is not equivalency. We can't be say that, and therefore can be used as a medium of. No, this cannot be. They're not the equal value, right? So therefore 3 cannot be. And if you remove the 3, so answer is 1 and 2. So this is again one of the very easy, and if you have known the things, Ghataprabha in Karnataka, right? This is given as here Telangana, Gandhi Sagar, Madhya Pradesh, Indira Sagar, Madhya Pradesh, right? This means this is wrong, this is wrong, it is right. Maithan in Jharkhand, right? This is wrong. So what the question is here, how many pairs, okay, how many pairs are not correctly matched? Here 1, 2, 3, only 3. That means of the 80 is C. So here as we know them, the Government of India Act 1919, right, we can call it as, okay, diarchy, right? So this is we call so. And here because of it is actually divided or classified the powers into 2 things, as transfer and the reserve. And as the sum of them as the transfer, sum of the reserve. And here the question is reserve. That means only for them, executive, what do we say that of the viceroy. So here is things reserve means, look at now administrative of justice, right? And local self-government, it is under the transferred one. So 2 cannot be. So look at now the option 2. Yes, 2 is here, 2 is here, 2 is here. So therefore the answer for this question is C. That is 1, 3 and 4. No need to go for the other options to see. In medieval, in that phenom is again direct. It's related to the coins. No need to discuss. And Ghadar party, as we know them, right? Indian national movement was on the 2 platform, that is INC and non-INC. And non-INC platform is again there is a RTM, the Revolutionary Terrorist Movements, and that is again that was actually some of the movements were actually in India and some were outside the India. And in such one outside the India, Zimmerman Plan, Ghadar Party, Indian Society, like that, the Ghadar Party is also one of the such thing which was actually worked for India's independence outside India. So here who were actually associated with the Ghadar Party? So here the Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee, it's he's belong to the RTM 2. So 2 cannot be the answer, right? So this cannot be and this cannot be. And Bharendra Kumar Ghosh, no, even he is not also be. Okay, 1 is already is there, right? So 1 cannot be, right? And the remaining is only 3. That is Rash Bihari Bose, but is not directly linked, but indirectly is associated. And the one more question is related to the Cripps mission. Okay, the Constituent Assembly would have members nominated by the Provincial Assembly as well as Principal. No, it's not the nominated, it's elected. So the wrong. Any province which is not prepared to accept the new constitution would have the right to, so has a separate agreement with the Britain. Okay, this is one right. So therefore here related to this option is B. So no need to again explain about the Cripps, the Powell Declaration, right, Nehru report, Jinnah's proposal, right, many things are there. Okay, no need to discuss. Okay, the Indian history concept following text, again it is a culture, right, literary works. Okay, the one more question is being asked here. So which are related to the question is what here? Okay, Jaina text, sorry, here's the Jaina text. So look at the Netti Pakarana, this is exactly for the Buddhist, right, as we know it. It's a Buddhist text. Okay, Parishishta Pavan, this is Jain, right? The Avadhana Shataka, it is for the Buddhist. And the Trishashti Lakshanam Mahapurana, this is for the again Jain. So therefore here the question is Jain text, that is 2 and 4. Here is 2, 2, okay, 2 and 4. This is the answer would be B. Okay, here the Aryadeva is a Buddhist scholar as we know it, right? This is again from the culture. So remove 1. Okay, Dignaga, Buddhist scholar, Nath Muni it is, Vaishnava scholar, 2 and 3. That means of 2 pairs are correctly matched. That is option for this question, answer for this question is C. Okay, this is again history as we know them, the Mongols. Okay, Genghis Khan, I think so. That's, he actually invaded India during the reign of Iltutmish, right, as we know it. So the reign of Jalaluddin Khalji, no, as I told you, it's in Iltutmish time. So 1 cannot be. Go with the option. So 1, 1. Okay, this cannot be. So go with the second option. So during the reign of Alauddin Khalji, one Mongol assault marched up to Delhi and besieged the city. This is exactly right. During time it was done. So therefore, answer would be B. No need to go for other one. Kulahadharana is a Sayyids, right? So next one is Indian history consider following statement. Okay, the Dutch established their factories or warehouses on the east coast on the lands granted to them by Gajapati rulers. No, they are not by the Gajapati rulers. So now go with the one option. Remove 1, 1, 1. Right. So remaining here is 2 and 3. That's why I am telling you that chase for the wrong one, not the right one. You will get the answer. And Kautilya's Arthashastra, this is again out of the box, right? Even I don't know this. So maybe, yes, by consulting our history and other faculties, finally we concluded that, the person could be slave as a result of the judicial punishment. It's a right? And if a female slave bore her master or son, she was legally free. If a son born to a female slave was fathered by her master, the son was entitled to the legal status of the master's son. This is also right. But we'll see what UPSC gives the answer. But we are actually going with option D is the right answer. So the next one is, in which of the following compiles information industrial disputes, closures, retrenchments and the layoffs in the factories employing workers. Look at now, it's very again that if there is something happens to the laborers and everything, right, be it the industrial dispute and everything, entrenchment and layoffs and all are right there in what, in your labor bureau under the Ministry of Labor and Employment. That means of the answer for the 91 is C. So this is again, as we know them, the coal controller organization. So why it was? Because as we know, the coal crisis was there. So that way this question was asked. Okay, this is works under the Ministry of Ministry of Coal. So here is the major source of coal statistics in the government of India. That's the Ministry of Coal, right? It's the right one. It monitors the progress of development of captive coal or lignite blocks. It bears any objection to the government's notification relating acquisition of the coal, but I have a doubt on it, right? And it ensures the coal mining companies deliver the coal to end users in the, not in the, it's not its duty. That's, it has to, what we say that, it has to deliver the coal in the prescribed time or stipulated time, but it is not the right one. But we're actually with the 1 and 2 or 1, 2, 3. That means of the 92, maybe 1, 2, 3 or 1 and 2. C or A we're actually going with. Let's see what UPSC gives. So the next one is, if a particular area is brought under the 5th schedule of the Constitution of India, which one of the following statements best reflects the consequence of it? The 5th schedule and the 6th schedule, as we know that, scheduled areas and the tribal areas, and anything if you put any area under the 5th schedule, it directly indicates that any land which is being under this, they cannot be transferable to the non-tribal one. And even you can say that the non-tribal advisory councils through which that area can be administered. So therefore here that this would prevent the transfer of land of the tribal people to the non-tribal, as I told, right. This would create a local self-governing body in that area. As I told you, the tribal advisory council, right, this is also somewhat right. This would convert the area into a union. No. the state having such areas would be declared as a special. No, this cannot be special category status. If I want to say, it has to follow Gadgil formula. So Gadgil-Mukherjee formula, but not this one. So this cannot be C and D, but we actually have the doubt in the option A or B, right? Now itself we can go with the option A is the right, but actually we have the doubt A or B. Fine. The next one is the following statement: the Indian Sanitation Coalition. Again, I still remember it was in the 2016 current affair, right? India Sanitation Coalition. It is a platform to promote sustainable sanitation and is funded by the government of India and the World Health. Okay, this is actually, we exactly don't know it is funded by the government of India or not, but it is supported by the government. And again, even we not clear enough that it is supported by the World Health Organization or not, because the India Sanitation or India San, what we call, it is somewhat, it is actually on the same lines of WASH of WHO, right? As you know, the WASH, right? Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Program of the WHO. So therefore, based on that, maybe this is right or wrong. Again, we have the confusion about this statement. The National Institute of Urban Affairs is an apex body of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in the Government of India and provides innovative solutions to address the challenges of urban area. This is absolutely right, because the National Institute of Urban Affairs, it's a very important body, okay, which directly works under the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So therefore, I can go with the 2. Right now I go with the 2, but we're actually doubt on statement 1. So now only we go with the B is the right answer. So next one is that which one of the following has been under the Environmental Protection Act. This is again repeated question. I think in 2018 this was asked, and it's frequently it has been asking on the acts, right? Especially the environmental governance section, we can say it. Okay, the Central Water Commission, this is not that it's not any statutory body and which directly works on the Cabinet Secretariat, as we know. Central Groundwater Board, no. And the Central Groundwater Authority, this is, as you know, National Resource Management Authority is there, and we can say that Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, you can say, right? And many more are there. So therefore here, and the National Water Development Agency, this cannot be again. So therefore, for the 95th, the answer for the question is C. The credential committees, as you go with that, it's that actually falls under the UNGA, right? It is committee set up by UNSC. No, it is not UNSC. So as I told you, it is under the United Nations General Assembly. Statement 1 is wrong. Go with 1. This cannot be. This cannot be. Remaining 2 and 3. So next go with that. It is traditionally meets. No, they are not meets in March and like that. So therefore 2 is also wrong. Go. Here is the 2. Here is the 2. And here is also 1 is not also. Therefore the answer for this question is A. Fine. The next one is polar code, right? It is again, it was in the news because of Chinese activities in the Antarctic and the Arctic, especially in the Arctic because of polar Silk Road is concerned. So therefore what happens that if you explore the polar waters, definitely they could lead to the a doming effect, what we say in economy. The same thing, if something happens in the polar, poles are in the cold waters, or in the the Antarctic and the Arctic, definitely it will have the many consequences over all the globe. So therefore we have to maintain, or we have to regulate or control the anthropogenic activities in the region. So therefore they have been brought the polar codes. The codes in the sense to control the behavior, we have a set of guidelines. So therefore go with here. It's an international code of safety for the ships operating in the polar waters. Okay, this is definitely right. So therefore no need to go for the other options here, because already what we have said, this is a codes to protect the polar regions or the polar shippings. Next is which are UN General Assembly consider following. The UN General Assembly can grant observer status to the non-member states. Definitely it can give. And intergovernmental organizations can seek observer status in the UN General Assembly. Yes, definitely the permanent observers in the UN General Assembly can maintain the missions of the UN headquarters, right? The 3 statements are right. Therefore the answer for this question is D. The next one is with reference to the T board. Look at now that the T board is nothing but of so you can say that it's a statutory body, so which is being set up in T board, the T Act of 1951, which directly works under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and it's headquartered in Kolkata, right? As we know all these things. So now go with that. The T board is statutory body. Yeah, definitely it is, because as I told you, the T board Act of 1951. It is a regulatory body attached to the Ministry of Agriculture. As I told you, it is not the Ministry of this, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. If we go with the 2, okay, 2 is wrong. This cannot be. Okay, next. The T board's head office is situated in, yes, as I told you, Kolkata. 3 cannot be. Go with the 3. Elimination of 3. Okay, 3. The answer for this question is 1 and 4 only. Okay, fine. You are getting the points. So greenwashing, as you know that what they convey, some of the organizations or some of the companies, they convey to the public that we are eco-friendly, but they are not actually. So the greenwashing is such false thing. It's conveying a false impression that a company's products are eco-friendly and environmentally sound. Okay, so this is one. Definitely I can go with the first one, the greenwashing. Okay, it was also in the news, so therefore it was asked. So the next. Okay, the 100 questions are over, and we are actually here left with the science based questions, and which will be handled by another faculty in the next classes. And hope you have done very well in this year's UPSC. And my suggestion is that don't worry about your attempts. Give the attempts. How much you can give, that much you will become stronger. And one thing I want to suggest you that UPSC, if you want to clear this, you had to go with the previous year question papers. You need to analyze and all, right? And hope you have done very well, and good luck for your future. Thank you.